Good morning. We are going to go ahead and get started. Please continue to eat this amazing breakfast by the Lions Club. I want to welcome everybody today. This is a fantastic group that we've got here. What a great crowd. I think this shows the importance to all of us for a skilled workforce in Lincoln County and our region. And I thank and applaud all of you for being here today. I want to thank the Lions Club once again for allowing us this fantastic space and providing breakfast. I want to thank Mayor Flanagan and Mayor Scones for welcoming us and offering the blessing this morning. I'm Julie Rogers. I am the Executive Director of Economic Development for Lincoln County. I work with many of you and know you and had the pleasure of being in your businesses, and I'm certainly glad to see you here today. On your tables, we have some sign-in sheets. I'm going to ask each of you to kind of fill that out as we're going today. We'd like to collect those so that we can continue to feed information after this event today. We didn't want to do it at the door and bottleneck everybody, so there should be one on each one of your tables. I want to thank, we have staff from Senator Blunt, Senator Hawley, and Congressman Lichtmeyer's office here. If you guys would raise your hands or kind of stand up. I've got Jennifer and Sam and Krista. Those offices have been critically supportive and important to our what we've been doing here. They have written letters of support for us, for EDA. They've been behind us the whole way, so we certainly appreciate their support in all of our efforts. We also want to thank Senator Riddle, who's not here today, and Representative Randy Peitzman. Randy, kind of wave and smile. They have been incredible, and they were able to secure us $1 million for this project from the state of Missouri, which is absolutely incredible. So please give them a round of applause. Not only that, but they worked behind the scenes to get this, to be supportive of this project and help us get it off the ground, and we could not be here without them. I want to also thank the commissioners, Lincoln County commissioners. I've got Matt Bass and Mike Mueller over there, if you guys would kind of wave. Those guys are my bosses, although we joke I don't listen really well sometimes, but they're amazing. They've been very supportive of this. They've been behind this from the very beginning and have allowed us to spend our time pursuing a skilled workforce education training in Lincoln County. So I thank them all the time for their support. We also have members of the Lincoln County Industrial Development Authority Board here, which is their goal is to promote industrial growth in Lincoln County. I've got Daryl Harkey in the back. Angie Baker's over here, Jim Heitman, Billy Sullivan, Chad Whitty, and Frank Rolfe is here. And I appreciate them and all the efforts that they do. Elaine Henderson, who is on my team now, is on the economic development team. Many of you know Elaine. She is the former superintendent of the Silex School District. She helps with their office doing special projects such as education, Ranken Tech. She's also very involved with our reentry program at the county jail with Sheriff Cottle. Elaine created a flyer that she has on the tables and stuff that talks a little bit about, as an employer, what benefits are there for you for hiring somebody in a skilled or somebody in the reentry program. There's a lot of exciting things going over there. We encourage you, if you have an interest, to reach out to us, and we can share more information about that. One of those partners that we're working with in the reentry program is Connections to Success. I know Kathy Lambert's here. Kathy somewhere. There's Kathy in the back. Connections to Success is an amazing organization that provides professional and personal development for anybody who needs it. We've been doing programs there at the county jail and also through probation and parole. And we've had some conversations with New Horizons High School, and we hope to see some progress with that. It's an amazing program, and we're blessed that Connections to Success chose Lincoln County as the first rural community to come into. So thank you for that. I have to thank Lauren Fast and April Bryant up here up front with us. Fast Bryant Consulting, they've been amazing. When we decided we needed to live stream this, we reached out to them, and they're incredible. I highly recommend them to anybody who's looking for professional services. Over here to my left, we've got Ranken Tech, Stan Chown, the CEO of Ranken, and Don Pohl, who's the president. I'll let them introduce the rest of their team in a minute. We've got some Ranken students here. They are local students. Corey Thompson, who is pursuing diesel technology, wave to us. And Cameron Palmer, electrical automation technology. Their current students are local to this area, so if you have a need and an interest in them, please talk to them. We also have a lot of Ranken alumni in the room. If you are a Ranken alumni, could you please raise your hand? That's incredible. We've got some amazing Ranken alumni in the room, and we certainly appreciate working with them and all the efforts that they have provided us in moving forward, getting Ranken here to the table. My last introduction is my friend and my partner through all of these efforts, Dr. Mark Penny, the superintendent of the R3 School District. So Mark?
Thank you, Julie. Good morning. Honored to be here today. I've been a little busy as of late. This thing called COVID-19 is something that the school district's been working through. We just released our Return to Learn plan last Wednesday, and as a result of that, we received over 800 questions from our community. And we just released our FAQ, I believe it was yesterday. And as it stands right now, 77% of our students want to return to learn in person, and 23% have chosen the virtual option. So I just want to touch on that a little bit. But really why I'm here is to talk about this. When I came to Troy 9 years ago, I'm beginning my 10th year in our school district. I can't believe that. When I came here, one of the things that impressed me with our community was the word opportunity. And coming from another school district north of Columbia, I was the fiscal agent my district was for a technical center. So I knew the importance of career and technical education long before I came to Troy. But our students, Lincoln County R3, we were not the fiscal agent. We are a sending school to Pike Lincoln Tech. So one of the things I thought of was, how can we create our own technical center? So Eric Hood and I began a journey. He was board president at the time. We went to State Tech. I also toured St. Charles Community College. But when I went to Ranken and I met Stan Schown and Don Pohl, it was like we've been friends forever. And so the relationship that we formed in a short amount of time is what's really led us here today. So if I say I've got an idea for that, they have the same response. It's been kind of it's been really fun to work with our friends from Ranken. So I'm really excited about the opportunities for our students. The other thing that I did, Frank Roth and I sat in a MU extension program. I don't know if you remember that, Frank. And there was really some numbers that spoke to me as a community member of the need for workforce development here in Lincoln County. So with the help of our friend Representative Randy Peisman, who said, hey Mark, I think I can get you some money. And he certainly delivered on that with a $500,000 gift, if you will, from the state. We weren't quite ready to spend that the first year. We actually got it reallocated for last year's budget. And our friend Senator Jeannie Riddle, she also helped with a $500,000 allocation. So $1 million of seed money is what allowed us to be where we are today. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our Board of Education. They took a leap of faith and with my recommendation to front the money for the Career and Technical Center with Ranken Tech. A lot of people don't know that. So when you add the $1 million from the state, we got $5.1 million from the Economic Development Authority, so a little over $6.1 million is going to pay for our facility. We were very fortunate to buy the land that you see. Many of you were at our groundbreaking ceremony. We're going to be located just on Highway 61. We're coming out of the ground. Hopefully September, October, you'll see steel. The excavation work is taking place now, but we're really excited. We're behind schedule, believe it or not. Stan's been pushing us for the last 18 months. But I want to talk about Ranken. My father-in-law is a graduate of Ranken as well, and so is my brother-in-law. And in mid-Missouri, where I'm from, you hear about Ranken, but when you come to this region, Ranken is a leader in career technical education. So that's the reason we decided as a district to partner with them. And we're bringing programs that the community has never seen before. Every time I talk about aquaponics, people's eyes light up. And then I'll say something about hydroponics, or I'll say something about having 400 students in the Future Farmers of America, one of the largest chapters in the United States. And then when I talk about our building trades construction class and our former maintenance facility on campus behind Troy Middle School will become the new home. It's as big as this room. It'll become the new home of our building trades construction class for high school students here in the next 30 days. We are relocating our transportation department to 97 Enterprise Way, the old Buckeye building behind Bodine, Toyota Missouri Motor Manufacturing Company, I believe is the name now. It took me 8 years, Nani, to learn how to say Bodine, but now I got to say TMCC. But Toyota has been great partners of the district. Every time I turn around, they want to do something with STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They would do something with Project Lead the Way. And so I really want to thank Nani and all of our friends at Toyota. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce my friend, Stan Schown and Don Pohl. They're going to talk more about the Ranken project. So honored to be here. Thank you so much for your great attendance today. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Stan Schown, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of Ranken Technical College. I was the president for 12 years before that, and they decided I was getting old and made me the talking head. So I'm going to tell you, I talk very fast, and we're going to go through a lot of slides. I got about 35 minutes to tell you, first of all, why it's important, a little bit about Ranken, and then a little bit about how we're going to do it here in Troy, which again, I love the building. You know, the building is great, but the model is better. So kind of keep your eye on that. I will tell you that the slideshow that I'm about to show you will be posted on the websites, so you can get it there, so you don't have to write anything down, or if you missed anything, it'll be there overall. So I put out a disclaimer when I started talking, because as we go through, I'm going to throw out some statistics and facts and things like that. And you know, it's not necessarily representative of this particular school district. It's a nationwide phenomenon. And so, you know, don't get offended in any shape or way, and understand that what we're talking about is something that's not only, you know, relative to Troy or the St. Louis region or the state. It is something that's going on nationally across the board, and we got to figure out how to do it better, folks. That's the bottom line overall. I will tell you this: we're here because of Dr. Penny and the vision and the ideas that conform to what we think the future looks like. And that's a rarity. I was talking with Elena here a little earlier this morning. Finding K-12s that understand and see the future and are willing to adapt to it is a rare bird. And that's one of the reasons why we're here, to be very honest with you. So as we go through, you know, I'll give you a chance at the end to ask questions. If I don't know the answers, I've got a lot of smart people here. You'll see a lot of the Ranken folks here, and grab them. And if they don't know the answer, they can put you to somebody that does. The first thing I will tell you is this: the old days are gone. You know, most of you all are from industry right here. The days of going to the high school itself or to a college fair, getting 50 applications, selecting the best 2 or 3 and hiring for 50 years is done. It's gone. Get over it. It's not going to happen that way. We have to figure out a way to recruit, train, and retain our workforce that is in line with the 21st century. That way is done and gone, folks, believe me. The bottom line is that the boomers are leaving. Whether you guys want us to or not, we're retiring. We represent 40% of the workforce, and there's not a whole heck of a lot back behind us, guys. So we got to figure out how to do this with the whole idea of this declining demographic overall. And the only way that it's going to happen is that if we change the way that we train right now and the way we recruit. I will tell you this: 70% of our workforce will not go to a 4-year college. And I know that sometimes when I throw that up, the K-12s get a little excited, like they're doing a bad job. That's not a bad job. That is the 5-decade statistical average. 30% of the kids will go on to get a 4-year degree. God bless them, folks. We need engineers, we need doctors, we need accountants. 70% of his class will not do that. And what that means is they got to go into the workforce and have some other skill, but we don't do anything for them. Mark has figured it out, and Mark has actually put on a pathway to address that overall. And part of that is to give them the skills, and in particular to give them the STEM skills that they need. And oh, by the way, retraining. Your workforce that's there right now is going to need retraining. Technology is doubling every 2 years right now. So the things that you're learning, the softwares and the IT and all the automation, 2 years from now it's going to be obsolete. And so there is always going to be this retraining across the board. So we got to figure out how to do it, and not in the old ways, because in the old ways it was, well, go to school, get your education, and then go get a job. The numbers don't allow us to do that. We need to be able to do both education, training, and work simultaneously. And this is what this model is all about as far as we're concerned. I will tell you this, and again, I speak generally for the St. Louis region because I'm most familiar with it. If you take a look at it, basically on this end of the spectrum, we have a glut. We have more four-year degrees than we need. As a matter of fact, I will tell you this, 30% of the people that go on to get a four-year degree will never use that degree. They just went and got a degree just because that was the thing to do. On the other end, we have this unskilled labor force, and we have more unskilled people than we need. And oh, by the way, the answer isn't to create more unskilled jobs, which is what politicians advocate. What we need to do is address the middle in which there is a need for people to work. And that is the middle skilled technical areas. And that's what we're about at Ranken. A little bit about Ranken real quick. We're 113 years old. We are a not-for-profit. We are private, which gives us a lot of flexibility, as Mark will tell you. We are accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. I have the same accreditation as SLU, WashU, Notre Dame. We are 2- and 4-year. We specialize in technical areas. We do certifications. We do customized training, that type of stuff. We pride ourselves on our numbers. We basically are placing 97% of our kids right now within 6 months of graduation, and we also are graduating 81% of our kids. So the rule is if you come to our school, do what we ask you, you're going to get a good job overall. We pride ourselves again in the industry support. Before craziness happened, we usually have our April job fair, and we have, of course, with the coronavirus and everything, we canceled it this year, but usually in our April job fair, we have over 500 companies come to recruit our 900 graduates. Think about that. Does that not tell you what industry needs and wants overall? 87% of our kids receive financial aid, and that's important because giving access is one of the things we're going to do. Brian is going to talk here a little bit at the end. Part of the access is the whole idea of funding. 66% of our kids receive Pell Grants. I will tell you this, and y'all can figure this one out. I am the only college in the state of Missouri that can give Pell Grants to high school students. That's important. When we're trying to do what we're doing in an early college model, to be able to award Pell Grant, federal financial aid, to a high school student is absolutely essential. We pride ourselves on our 3 legs of our educational philosophy. We do technical education because that's who we are. That's what we've been doing for 113 years. We do general education because that is an important part of especially awarding degrees. And I will tell you, we use the degree as a platform. Within every degree, we embed the professional certification. So, if you're coming and you're doing automotive, for instance, you're going to get ASE degrees. If you come and you're welding, you're going to get your AWS degree certifications. If you're into IT, you're going to get Cisco and Microsoft. Those things are all embedded because we know that is the preferred hiring credential for most industries. Now, the degree is important. Don't get me wrong. It opens a lot of doors down the way. But to be able to do both simultaneously is absolutely essential, not only to the student's future, but also for the whole educational process. Our educational philosophy is a little bit different than most schools. The bottom line is we give the student what they need, not what they want. If they want to study, history, go somewhere else. This is not what we do. If you want to study art, go somewhere else. This is not what we do. We're going to give that student exactly what they need in terms of skills to be successful in a career pathway. No more, no less. The other thing is, and we're kind of renowned for it, is our work ethic component. If you take a look at my students that are sitting back there, they're in uniforms. As a matter of fact, all our students are in uniforms. We have certain grooming standards that they have to adhere to. They have to have their uniforms. They get graded on their professionalism, their teamwork. All this stuff is very, very important to us. As a matter of fact, they actually get a grade, and it goes on their transcripts. And you can see what their work ethic looks like. And people go, well, why do you do that? Especially some of the younger people. Why do you do that? Because the number one requirement from industry, from you all, is find me somebody that just wants to show up for work every day, comes on time, wants to learn. Everything else we can take care of. So work ethic is absolutely the number one requirement for the next generation of workforce. But yet, we do very little to enforce that, but not at our school itself. The other thing is we are very much into integrated work-based learning. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. Bottom line is, our success metric isn't how many kids I graduate. Don't get me wrong, we graduate 81%. But the real success metric is, did I get them a job? Did I give them the skills that are necessary for them to make a living for the rest of their life? If we did that, we're extremely successful at what we do. So the other part that we're going to bring to this model overall is, we found out real quick that if you're just right here at the high school graduation, and then you're recruiting and you're worried about what you're going to do for the rest of your life, you're too late. Too many decisions have been made, both socially, educationally, across the board. So what we figured out is we need to be back here. So again, Dr. Penny has had enough vision to understand that we need to be involved way before just graduation. And so the whole idea is that we're going to come in and we're going to integrate, and we have a very defined system of how we integrate, and literally from the 6th grade on in our in-school pipeline. And this is our in-school pipeline right here. And bottom line is, within that in-school pipeline, we even have a scholarship program. And again, this is part of that financial aid type of thing, that our kids that are participating in our activities, and there's a whole list of activities, and this is not even just part of them, they are actually, by participating as early as the 6th grade, earning college credit, scholarship credit. So that when they do get ready to go to college, Ranken, they can have up to $10,000 in scholarships already banked. We think that that's essential to lead these young people down the career pathways. Don't wait until they're senior in high school and start applying for scholarships and things like that. That doesn't make any sense. So leading them down career pathways, giving them the exposure to the foundations, getting them relationships with the companies, we have found out long-term strategically that is absolutely the best way to do it overall. We not only believe that there is this in-school pipeline, it involves lifelong learning, there's training thereafter, again, technology doubling, that type of stuff, but there's this out-of-school pipeline, and I commend Julie and her group, the reentry program. We've got to get that particular group back into the workforce, folks. The numbers don't allow us not to. In the old days, there was enough, when we were in the population boom, there was enough numbers you could go, it would be nice, but if they don't, that's okay. We don't have that option now. Statistically, we have to get this out of school, out of workforce group back into employment. Whatever it takes to do that, we've got to do that. So we have a lot of programs that are very involved with the reentry from the incarcerated to the aged out to the undereducated, that type of stuff. We've got to bring them back into the pipeline for the economy to grow. I will tell you this, I'll make a very broad statement. Number one impediment to economic growth is the inability to fill the workforce. Every company I deal with, and I deal with lots of them, would love to bring more work in if they could find a stable, reliable workforce. It is not a jobs issue, it's a workforce issue. The jobs is just sort of the end of it, the itch. Quit scratching that and start figuring out what the problem is, and the problem is we don't have the workforce and we need to be able to provide it. So we do work-based learning, which is a very important aspect of this model in two ways. One is kind of the traditional apprenticeship style stuff, and I'll show you a little bit about that in just a second. But work-based learning in general is a great paradigm. Think about it. It is absolutely the best way to learn, but yet we shy away from it in education. I've never figured that out. We love podium lecture type instruction. That's what education's been about for 100 years, and by golly, we're not going to change, believe me. I make the joke all the time that education, and it's kind of funny because Elaine's sitting here shaking her head, and she's the next superintendent. Education loves to talk about continuous improvement until you ask them to change, and then they're not going to change. So the bottom line is, work-based learning, hands-on learning, is absolutely the best way to learn. As a matter of fact, if you look at our model, for every hour of theory that they get, and they do get theory, because there is education involved, especially in the higher technology areas, but for every hour, you get 3 hours of hands-on. You need to be doing it. That's how students learn and retain information better. So we're very much into that. Now, that's not only good for the student, but that is also good for the industry if you do it right. The bottom line is, what we've found is that we have several models to incorporate our kids into their career pathways early on. And if we're doing it right, these students are actually productive for the industries. That's important. Industry is all about the bottom line. And oh, by the way, if I can show them a return on investment early for the educational process, I've done a great service to not only the student, but to that industry overall. This is one of our programs.
Technical College. Our mission is simple. We don't just prepare our students to get jobs. We teach the problem-solving skills and work ethic that they need to build successful careers. Today's manufacturing industry is driven by skilled workers and innovative technology. From robotics to welding and control systems to CNC machining, we focus on hands-on training for the fields that will make up tomorrow's workforce. And at Ranken, we're constantly working with the industry to make sure that we're giving our students the most effective training possible.
I have friends that went straight from high school into the workforce, and I know that by going to Ranken, that I'll have a better opportunity to advance in a company, because here I know I get the best training on the equipment, and I get to learn from people who have spent their lives in the industry.
We've structured our advanced manufacturing program to give students the opportunity to earn while they learn, with internships at top manufacturers.
In the advanced manufacturing program, we learn in the classroom from knowledgeable teachers who want to see me succeed, and I get hands-on experience in the shop, and then I get to use those skills in the real world through the internship program.
My time here at Ranken and the time that I've spent out in my internships have really prepared me for the workforce by really presenting me with the challenges that I'm going to face when I'm out in the industry.
Alternating between 8 weeks at Ranken and 8 weeks of their internships, our students have the opportunity to apply what they learned in the classroom and the shop to a real-world job setting.
From the first day that I stepped out of this door and I went to work at a machine shop outside of Ranken, I was picking up calipers, I was checking parts, I was making parts, I was running machines, so pretty much every aspect that I learned from Ranken, I was applying the first day.
The employers who participate in our internship program get to start early in training their future workforce. Our manufacturing internship program has successfully matched many Ranken students with employers who are looking for the perfect mix of skills, experience, and professionalism.
For us, it's getting from receipt of order to delivery of first order faster, having bright people that can walk up to the machine and play well with others. That's critical.
Our employer partners also benefit from an ongoing pipeline of top-notch interns who are teachable, knowledgeable, and ready to start their career as soon as they graduate from Ranken.
In the time Ranken has been here, we've had 11 interns. 7 of those work for us right now. 5 of them are permanent employees. 2 of them have transitioned to our MC programming department. They've had a big impact.
That's why manufacturers compete to recruit Ranken Manufacturing School students. Employers know that every Ranken student has the hands-on experience and technological expertise they need to succeed.
We benefit tremendously because we end up having skilled people. It's a good feeling to know that people want me to be skilled and want me to have a better look at this industry because it's always changing and it's always growing.
Are you ready to learn more about the opportunities offered through Ranken's manufacturing programs? Contact us today.
So this is a very typical apprentice-style program overall. I will tell you this, I have 3 pre-apprentice programs, 9 registered apprentice programs, and 14 micro-enterprises. And we'll talk about micro-enterprises in just a second. But this particular type of a training or education, or however you want to refer to it, is pretty universally accepted. I will tell you this, probably my strongest apprentice program is probably my automotive program. We have probably 350 to 400 registered apprentices in our automotive program. I am the Midwest trainer for Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Audi, Chrysler, and Nissan. And we basically cover 10 states with this particular apprentice program. Most of these students are what we call 8 ins and 8 outs. And by the way, what that means is they're with us for 8 weeks and then they're rotating back to a geographic location sponsor in which they are basically working for 8 weeks, paid. And one of the things that has come out of this is this. We've learned very quickly that blue-collar technical workforce type people are very geographic. They want to be home. Wherever home is, they want to be home. So we're very, very strict about not putting a St. Louis kid in Kansas City. He won't stay. He may go for a year, do a good job. First chance he gets, he's coming home. Wherever home is, and everybody defines home a little bit different. The other thing that happens throughout this process, it's the automotive program itself is a 5-semester program. At the end of the 5 semesters, these students will have basically their Department of Labor apprentice registration certification. They will have an associate's degree. They will have up to 10 ASE certifications, including master mechanic. They will have worked for 1 full year for that sponsor and made probably $12,000 while they were going to school. But most importantly, these sponsors have formed a relationship with these young people, and we have 100% placement between sponsoree and sponsorer right now, and this program has been going for 5 or 6 years. That is the way you build your next workforce. If you're going to the job fair, and I tell people all the time, if you're coming to my April-May job fair, and you've never been there before, you've never interfaced with that young person, odds are you're not going to get them because somebody has done that. You got to get in early and help be part of the process overall. So the other area that we do work-based learning is called micro-enterprises. As I said, I have about 14 different enterprises on the campus, and all the micro-enterprises is this. We found out very early on that a lot of companies don't want to mess with apprentices, for whatever reason. There's a whole wide variety of reasons. But what we did understand is that the work-based component is absolutely essential. So what we started doing was convincing companies, instead of me sending kids out to you, you send your work into me, we'll take care of the supervision and that type of stuff. We have basically about 14 companies. I can tell you we do a wide variety of services. We build houses, we build cars, we are a car dealership. We basically build communication panels, electrical panels. We do R&D testing. We basically run 3 call centers. There's not much we don't do in terms of integrated workforce learning. Now, my kids are benefiting, to make no doubt about it. My kids are getting experience. They are also getting paid. But I will tell you this, for these companies that are embedded with us overall, we're probably doing about $5 million in production for them right now. That is pure profit for them as far as they're concerned. That is the best type of return on investment that I can give you overall. And that's, again, another way of helping build the workforce as far as we're concerned. As a matter of fact, it's been so successful, we just built a brand new building. We refer to it as Manufacturing Inc. And it's a little bit different. If you look up here, those are what we call work cells. We have 7 companies in those work cells. And again, we are doing their production for them with our students. We think that's good for the student. We think that's good for the industry. We think that's good for the region and the nation itself. A little bit about what we're doing here in Troy. First of all, you'll hear it and you'll see in a lot of the material and stuff, we refer to it as Ranken West, and the reason we refer to it as Ranken West is that we're teaming them up with our site in Wentzville. 10 miles down the road, folks. It's not, it's not a long journey. We have a facility that we've been there for 4 or 5 years now. It's 6 years, as a matter of fact. And basically, we have several of our entities or our focus areas there. As a matter of fact, I will tell you this. We have one of the nicest diesel training facilities in the Midwest. Not within St. Louis, within the Midwest. And we train a boatload of diesel folks. And again, going back to how we do that, I will tell you this. We have very traditional, 1 semester type of instruction. We have instruction which is 8 weeks in, 8 weeks out. We have instruction which is 4 weeks in, 4 weeks out. But we also have, for instance, we have a site in Perryville, Missouri, and we basically have our entire diesel program. Probably 95% of the diesel program is being taught within the industry facilities. I don't know if anybody knows it, but Mary Lee Gilster is there. And they do food products, and they have their own fleet. They have well over 300 diesel trucks. My students man their maintenance facility 3 shifts. And that is their training, that is where we do their training at that facility as part of their maintenance program. And that entire maintenance program is dependent upon our students. As a matter of fact, I will tell you this, even during the coronavirus, a lot of our industry partners, we had to continue to work. We build biotech equipment. My students had to come in and build biotech equipment. It's essential workers. The students that were working in the diesel facilities and things like that, those were essential workers. We had to continue. We operate just like business does. And that's a very important aspect overall. Ranken Winsville, as I said, we have several things going on. We have our diesel facility there. As a matter of fact, our advanced manufacturing, one of our manufacturing facilities is there. And we're going to rotate that up here and expand it. We have IT there. We have a lot of things going on. And that's not going to change. And what we're hoping to do is to blend these two sites over and make all of this instruction available to all of the students here regionally. The Ranken Troy building itself, this is the latest rendering of the facility. I'm sure it'll change, it always does. But bottom line is, as Mark pointed out, we're down here on Highway 61, very visible from the road itself. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility. It's about 22,000 square feet. And again, love the building, make no doubt about it. The building is important to us. We think that's one of the things that we need to do, which is change the paradigm, change the concept of what technical education looks like. You know, we jokingly talk about when we go out and recruit young people to come into the fields, we actually have to sell the whole thing twice. Once we got to sell it to the kid, and once we get the kid convinced, I got to sell it to the parent, because 9 times out of 10 the parent's a boomer, and the boomer doesn't want their son or daughter to be a welder or to be a mechanic or to be an electrician. And that's because they have the 60s mentality of what those shops look like. If you haven't been to my campus, I invite you to come and see it. It is pristine, state-of-the-art across the board, and that is the future of technical education. The model itself, as I told you, the building is phenomenal. We're excited about it, and we're pushing forward with it, and hopefully, in a year from now, we're going to be giving you a tour of it when we have the ribbon cutting. But I got to tell you, the model excites us even more. As we said, we think that we need to be in as early as possible. So as we talked with Mark Penny and his group, the thing that we wanted to do was to start our educational process for this careers earlier, not wait till they're a senior, and not even wait till they're graduated, that type of thing. So what's going to happen, and there's a lot of details to be worked out across the board, but basically the students, would continue in the K-12 pretty much as usual, but compressed a little bit. In other words, to accelerate them, to get them some space on the back end so that we can start doing the things that we want to do. And again, there's nothing specifically designed at this particular point. But basically, up to about grade 10, they're going to be doing their K-12 things, learning the things that the K-12 that DESE deems necessary. And God bless them, we appreciate that. But then about grade 11, they're going to start transitioning to us. Now, hopefully they've had some foundational work, they've been exposed to some occupational stuff across the board, but hopefully at grade 11, they're going to start down a career pathway. And what we want to do in that career pathway is pretty much what we've always done. We want to put them on a pathway that has certifications in it. We want to put them on a pathway that in the end they could get an associate's degree or even a bachelor's degree. But we also want to get them experience. Again, the hands-on piece is absolutely essential to us. We think that is where the money is made, so to speak. The bottom line is, hopefully at about grade 12, they're going to get their high school diploma. A lot of them will at that particular point just decide to go to work, and that's great because they should have some fundamental skills. They should have some basic certifications that would make them useful to you all as an industry. But hopefully, because of this whole integrated work-based learning, they don't just quit learning at that point, because I got to tell you, this is lifelong learning. What we really want to do is keep them affiliated, associated with the program, and if they stayed with us for another year, and I say us as in Ranken and the industry, if they stayed within this program for another year, at that particular point they would have obviously earned more certifications, but they would have also be qualified to receive their associate's degree. So 1 year out of high school, they could get their associate's degree. Then, and I got to tell you, we got into the bachelor's business 12, 15 years ago, simply because we felt like that these CTE type of degrees were not appreciated by universities. You know, if you take your associate's degree in automotive to University of Missouri, you're probably going to get 12 credit hours, you know, for your bachelor's degree. And those are English, maybe math, those type of things. So we got tired of that. We got tired of our technical people getting punished for having an associate's degree in a technical field. So we got into the bachelor's degree programs, and what we've designed is programs that not only give you credit for it, it's required. To get one of our bachelor's degree, for instance, in applied management, you have to have a technical background. It's not an option. You've got to do this. And oh, by the way, you could stay with us for another year, year 14, coming out of high school, and basically work in this type of academic area and get a bachelor's degree 2 years out of high school. A bachelor's degree 2 years out of high school. We think that that's the future, not only for that student, but for technical education overall. We're extremely excited about this type of model because we think that it's viable not only here, but other places. We've got some friends here. Miles, stick your hand up. Miles Mendoza is from Chicago. He's been working with me for about a year now. They want to do the same thing. I know that Darryl and these guys are talking to some folks in Kentucky. They want to do the same thing. This is the future, folks, whether anybody believes it or not, and you guys are on the cutting edge of it. The areas that we chose for this particular site, and these are initial areas only, aquaponics. And a lot of people say, well, why did you pick aquaponics? Well, you know, Dr. Penny's already mentioned, you guys got one of the largest future farmers associations in the state. So it's of high interest. I will also tell you, oh, by the way, farming is the largest industry in this state. Not that anybody talks about it that way, but it is. But I will also tell you, if you look at how we're setting this up, it has two pathways. It has the bioscience pathway, you know, more the traditional, how do you grow, how do you raise, that type of stuff. On the other side of the coin, it will also have what we call an ag tech pathway. How do you use technology within these areas? As a matter of fact, students that are in this particular curriculum can actually get their NIMS certifications in industrial engineering technology. That's incorporated into the overall thing. So not only are we teaching them agriculture, we're teaching them technology, and we think that that makes them that much more valuable to the workforce. We're going to bring our advanced manufacturing here. As I said, as a micro enterprise, we already machine for about 8 different companies. We're going to set that up and we're going to bring it here, and we will use that machining, which again is for regional companies, as training for those students, and the students will be paid to do that. So it's a win-win for the students, it's a win-win for us. We'll also bring our robotics automation here. We're actually, Emerson has already given us 4 automated control system trainers worth probably about $750,000 that we're going to incorporate into the facility here. So all this stuff is good overall. We're going to have an energy sector technologies there. We're going to build a solar panel farm. We're going to throw up some windmills, and we're going to show everybody how to incorporate this in, because I got to tell you, energy is a lot like AT. It's universal to everything we do. So we can't ignore it, and what we got to do is figure out how to do it better. Of course, the construction trades. We love building. It's one of those things you can't offshore. Basically, you're going to need the carpenters, you need the electricians, you need the plumbers, you need the building systems design. I will tell you this, if you haven't been to my campus, I sit downtown. Within 3 miles of my campus, there's over $15 billion of construction slated. And my question to them has always been, that's great, who's going to build it? Who is going to be your workforce? Because it's not out there, folks. And it's not going to be out there unless we integrate in and help them find it. I will tell you this educational initiative will provide 100 to 150 students is what we're anticipating in the first 3 years. Education and training, they'll get financial support, they'll get work experience, but more importantly, if we do this right with your assistance, we'll be producing millions of dollars in product and services with these students as they're becoming the 21st century workforce. So the question always is, What are we here for? What are we doing? I can tell you this, to make this a reality, to make this successful, I am a private school. I get no money from the state. The only way this works is one way, folks, and that is if I have great industry partners. So that's why we have luncheons like this, to understand our model, to understand the importance of our model to you all. First thing I would tell you is, love to have your daughters and sons. And believe me, I emphasize daughters. If you take a look at the workforce numbers and stuff, 4% of the technical areas that we refer to are females. That's got to change, guys. It's an impossibility to maintain the workforce unless we get more females into these areas. So love to have your sons and daughters, but more importantly, what we would really like is to embrace you as partners and integrate in. We think that is the absolute way forward to make this a success. We've been doing this for 113 years, and we're successful for one reason only, because we let industry drive the way. I don't tell industry what they need. Industry tells me what they need, and we try and accommodate that overall. I would tell you this, I'd invite you to do this as you look around. If you're interested in an apprenticeship program, if you're interested in basically some type of micro enterprise, if you're interested in your 21st century workforce, grab one of my folks and they will either answer the question or find somebody that will overall. But that is how we're going to be successful in Troy, and that's how we're going to build the 21st century workforce. Thank you. I got a few minutes for Q&A on the schedule. Where's Julie? Julie says, yeah, all you got to do is speak up because you don't have a microphone. So you got to sort of yell just a little bit. So if you got a question, raise your hand and I'll try and answer it. And if like I said, if I can't answer it, somebody here smarter than I am.
When you talk about making parts for certain places, how do you do that? Was it like a job shop thing? Do I send a print, you quote that?
Absolutely, just like any industry. You basically show me what it is that you want to do, and basically send us some type of plans, details, stuff of that nature. We basically run through and make first product prototypes. We figure out what our work process is. We quote it to you. The beauty of it is, and I say this all the time, and I sincerely mean this. If I'm not better than the person that's building it for you, you shouldn't be dealing with me. I will tell you, I do a lot of stuff with Hunter Engineering, and the vast majority of the stuff that we do for Hunter Engineering was actually being made in Mississippi. And that's because they have a very low labor rate there. I could do it better, quicker, faster. The stuff I'm building for biotech equipment was all going to China. Almost universally, every product that I make for the BioMary-U, which is a biotech company, was going to China. I can do it better, cheaper, and plus get the advantage of the workforce. So yeah, get with Dan Kenyon. Where's Dan at? Dan, raise your hand. Dan Kenyon is my vice president of academics. He leads the way on most of the apprenticeships and micro enterprises. Get us a plan. Let us quote for you. See what we can do for you. What else? Oh, come on, guys. I'm not that good. Surely you got questions. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll answer questions. So I know a lot of what the training you're doing is, especially when it comes to welding and manufacturing, you're doing a lot of like the production side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the custom side? What about the farmers that need repairs to their pieces of equipment because they can't go out and buy $1 million piece of equipment, and they have job shops and manufacturers that allow them to bring those in?
Yeah, we have.
That?
Well, we do some, and typically we will do it for our ingrained customers. Again, remember that what we're trying to do is integrate education with real-life jobs. The only way that works is that it is predictable, that it is long-term, that we can integrate it, we can evaluate it, we can use it. Basically prototyping, it's a service that we would provide in some cases especially for our partners, but we don't like it because it's so unpredictable. I'll give you another great example. A lot of people ask me why we don't renovate houses. We don't renovate houses. I build houses on a regular basis. I build over 70 houses in the St. Louis area. I build brand new houses because renovation is too unpredictable to use as an educational process. So we have to look at that and see how it fits in. I'm not saying that we wouldn't do it, but we have to figure out how it fits into the educational pattern. What else? Anybody? Y'all are way too quiet. Well, with that, what I would say is this. If you do have questions, you're just shy. As I said, I've got a lot of folks standing around. Grab them. Tell us how we can integrate, how we can partner with you. And we definitely want you to be part of that. You are part of the future. You know, when you hear people talk about, making us great again and things like that. The answer to making us great is this. It's not government. Sorry about that, Sammy. It's not government. It's not education. It is industry. Industry will lead the way to a lot of the problems that ails us, and we'd like to be your partner in that process. With that, I would like to introduce you very quickly to Brian McCarthy. Brian is one of my development people. Raising money is essential. Again, I'm a business just like everybody else. I got to pay my bills and things. One of the things that we like to do is when we go into an area or region, we like to, again, start establishing funding for the students. And I will tell you, as a not-for-profit, 100% of our money goes to our students. It doesn't go anywhere else. Everything that we do is for our students. We have started a scholarship endowment program here, and basically, you raising your hand or you're scratching your head? Okay. Oh, I got a question online. This is scary. I haven't done this before. Online questions.
Easy question.
Who's going to ask?
Any idea how many Ranken graduates there are?
We've been around for 113 years. We've averaged between 750 to 1,000 each year. Most of them stay local, which we think is a very important part. I would challenge anybody in this room or in the audience online to find a business that there isn't a Ranken employee in it, because when you have that kind of history, we're everywhere. And believe me, we're everywhere in the United States. We have students that come from Texas, Florida. I have a cadre from New Jersey, and their father graduated from Ranken. So I would venture to say a bunch. I don't know what the number is, but you'd be hard pressed to find any industry that doesn't have Ranken involved in it in some way, shape, or form. So once again, Brian McCarthy, talk a little bit about the scholarship and endowment fund and anything else you want to talk about. Watch your step. Me and Mark made it without falling.
I was told to go this way.
Yep.
Good morning. Like Stan said, I'm Brian McCarthy. I work in the development office at Ranken. And one of the great things about my job is I get to talk to a lot of alumni, and some of them which are here. And almost universally, the alumni I talk to will say that attending Ranken changed their life. And that sounds like it's a tech school, right? But I've been in education my whole life. I was in public school before I started at Ranken, and I worked in some private schools too. And I've never been at a school where I've talked to alumni and they've said that this school changed my life. I was talking to one of the guys out here that I was talking to, one of the business owners, said, what I learned to do in college was do my laundry. And so I think there's really something to be said about a school where so many people and graduates are so thankful for the education they got. And I just thought I'd tell you a couple quick stories about some. Gene, now this is way back, Gene graduated in the 40s, and of course back then he was drafted right out of Ranken. And he scored 100% on his mechanical aptitude test. So instead of going to boot camp, he went to Hawaii and fixed submarines for the war. So that was a pretty good deal. Gene just turned 100 too. So, and still is in touch with our school, which is awesome. Tim's another typical story. Hated high school, and finally got to Ranken and found something he really got excited about. He was in an electrical program. And he liked it so much and got so inspired, he went on to get a degree in electrical engineering, then he went and got an MBA. And I was talking to him, and he says, that's not too bad for a kid who hated school, right? So now he's got a great job at Sunnen. Tristan, also one of our electric students, and of course and he's a very recent graduate, and his aspirations would be a plant manager, and our electrical program prepared him for that. And Stan was saying how in demand our kids are. He graduated with 3 job offers, one from UPS, one from Anheuser-Busch, and one from Red Bud Industries. So he had his pick of jobs, and he picked Anheuser-Busch maybe for obvious reasons. So the lesson here is that if you want to live a long life, get a great job, and get free beer, Ranken is the place for you. So the thing is, though, it's great to have this education, this opportunity right here, but if kids can't afford it, who's it helping? So That's one of the other thing I love about my job is I feel like I'm really, especially talking to alumni, it's like the money I raise is going to go to helping kids get a great education that I know is going to impact their lives. So it's a very rewarding place to work. Now, Stan mentioned this is endowed scholarship, so I imagine most of you probably know how that works, but endowment means that we get some money, we bank it, and we just give off the interest, so that is a permanent scholarship's going to be there forever, and it's going to help kids. I mean, there's no telling how many kids are going to benefit from this because it's going to be around for years and years and years. And I'd like to take a minute here to acknowledge some of the folks that have given, and I got to say my first memories of coming to Lincoln County was as a basketball coach at St. Dominic to come up to Troy annually and get our butt kicked by Mitch Wilkins and the boys. I remember one great night when Shane Capel hung 50 on us. That was really exciting. So that was a long time ago, though. So I've gotten over it, but actually spending time here in this community and talking to people, business owners like yourselves, this community support for this program has been really inspiring. And I just want to give you some idea of how that's gone so far. And I'll just acknowledge the people who have given already. So just bear with me as I read through this list, because thankfully it's kind of long. Elite Tool, Frank Roth. First of all, we got some naming rights to some of the aspects of different parts of our facility. And I'll start with those folks who've done that. Elite Tool, Frank Roth has given a gift, and it will be naming our machine shop. George Tucker from Land Design gave us a generous gift and is going to be naming our greenhouse. The Bank of Old Monroe, Charla Whalen Mueller and Daryl Harkey I've worked with. They've also given us a very generous gift, and they are going to be putting up signs in our lobbies at both buildings in Wentzville and Troy. People's Bank has also another generous gift, and they're going to be naming our student commons in Troy. Toyota is going to be naming our distance learning classroom and our conference room here in Troy. And just as of yesterday, Silverfin Solutions, Daryl Wenham is committed to giving us money to name our aquaponics lab. And then other businesses locally, Freeze Construction, Angie Baker's given a gift, Cooper Construction, Dr. Gina Buinaman, United Credit Union, Dr. Missy Aarons gave us a gift, Coastal Carriers, John Denard, Romar with Sean Wechter. I got to eat breakfast with Sean today. It was kind of nice. Thanks, Sean. And then we had some individuals who've given: Stan Schoen, our president; Don Pohl, CEO; Don Pohl, our president; Julie Rogers, supporting the program; and a couple of alumni, Nick Buneman and Stan Shelton, have also given. So since the mid-June, this community has given $185,000 to the scholarship fund so far. So that's really pretty amazing. I mean, I remember Julie and I sat down and we were talking about an initial goal was $225,000. Gosh, is that too lofty or not? But I don't think it is. I think we're going to blow it out of the water, honestly. So thank you. This community has been amazing. And we also have 9 other businesses that I've spoken with that are also in the process of considering a gift. And if you're interested, I'm going to be at that table back there where Sherry's seated. And we'd love to talk to you some more about this. And just thanks again for the support. And I love Lincoln County now. You know, Mitch is in the past.
Thank you for all the hard work. He has put a lot of miles on his vehicle out visiting businesses and getting those donations. It's going to help provide students an education, which is what we all need. That's why we're here. I never get tired of seeing the presentation that Stan and Dan and his team provides about Ranken Tech and what it means. And we all know that this is going to have a generational impact. This is not just for the next 5 years, 10 years, but for many, many years, this is going to have a profound impact on Lincoln County. And I'm so amazed and so proud to be part of all this. To Dr. Penny and the R3 School District and their vision to take that leap and to take this charge of this and get us across the finish line is also just incredible and amazing. And I feel blessed to be working with these partners. quick things before we send you on your way. The workforce development team and the Warrenton Job Center could not be here today. There is a table where Shannon's sitting that has some information. There are programs, if you're interested in partnering with Ranken and apprenticeship, things like that, that there can be connected through the state. So please check their table out. They also have their cards if you'd like to learn more. They also provide a lot of other services to businesses. They're not just for the unemployed, but for businesses looking for employees. On your tables, I forgot to mention a little swag. These are lint rollers, so please take those. I don't want to take them back to the office. And yeah. And I think that's it. For updates for what's going on the Ranken Tech website, they have now added a tab for Ranken Tech West. On there will be the contact information if your business wants to contact somebody there to get more involved. If you have questions, if you have students that want to find out when classes are going to start, what's going on, if you'd like to watch our progress, if you're interested in bidding opportunities, all that is going to be on the website. So please check that out. We have this being streamed live today. We will share that. We're going to make it available then to anybody. We'll put it on our websites to share with anybody going forward. If we don't have any other questions, I'm going to thank everybody once again for attending, and thanks to all my wonderful businesses here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.